Welcome to our deep dive. We're tackling Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich. It's a classic, but how do you actually use it?
It's one of those books people have strong feelings about.
Sure.
Love it or hate it, it's been super influential.
Yeah. Hill was writing self-help way back in the early 1900s. There's some debate about his life story, but we're here for the book, its impact.
Exactly. First big idea, burning desire. Hill tells a story about Darby.
Okay.
Darby was an insurance salesman, but almost struck gold, literally mining. He stopped 3 feet from gold.
Wow, so close.
But the real gold was the lesson. Never give up. He took that into selling insurance, became very successful.
Instead of finding gold, he found, the gold mindset.
Yes. Hill's point is burning desire, that drive, is what gets you there.
So it's wanting something so much, it fuels you, even when it's tough.
Right. Remember the little girl pestering her mom for 50 cents?
Oh yeah, she was relentless.
Exactly. That's pure desire. What about you? What's your burning desire? What do you want more than anything? Write it down. Picture it. Feel it.
That's a good starting point. But a burning desire needs a plan, right? Hill's next principle, crystallizing desire into action.
You got it. Desire's the fuel, but action's the engine.
Okay.
Hill's story about Edwin Barnes wanted to work with Thomas Edison didn't just wish. He planned, acted, burned bridges to make it happen.
Wow. All in.
Exactly. Commitment Hill's talking about. What steps can you take today to make your desire real?
Good question for our listeners. And as they plan, remember the mastermind.
The mastermind. Group of minds working together.
Like 2 heads are better than 1, but bigger.
Exactly. Charles M. Schwab sold his idea for U.S. Steel using this. Didn't have all the details yet, but believed in it. His mastermind group, they turned it into $600 million.
That's amazing. How can our listeners build their own mastermind?
Surround yourself with people who get your vision, bring different skills.
So we've got desire, the plan, and now teamwork. What's next?
Specialized knowledge. Hill uses Henry Ford as an example. Ford was questioned in court about his lack of education. His answer: he had people on his team. WHO had that knowledge. Specialized knowledge. Crucial.
Knowing what you're good at and finding experts for the rest.
Right. What knowledge do you need? Courses, mentors, books out there.
Filling in those knowledge gaps. Okay, knowledge is power, but what about the mind itself? Auto-suggestion.
Yes. Reprogramming the subconscious mind. Using affirmations. Thoughts shape reality.
Powerful stuff.
Hill even claimed he used this to help his son develop speech and hearing, despite being deaf.
Wow, that's incredible.
It is. The principle's powerful. Write down affirmations, repeat them daily, believe them, and visualize achieving them.
Like rewiring your brain for success.
Precisely. And speaking of rewiring, setbacks happen, but they can be stepping stones.
Makes me think of John Bunyan, wrote Pilgrim's Progress while in prison, turning a negative into a positive.
Exactly. Analyze failures, learn from them, refine your plan.
So it's learning from mistakes to move forward. Okay, I'm feeling motivated. But what about fear?
Hill had the 6 ghosts of fear: poverty, criticism, ill health, loss of love, old age, and death.
That's a lot. How do we even start to handle those?
Awareness is key.
What?
Recognize those fears, understand them.
Like where they come from?
Yes, then you can challenge them. Are they rational, based on facts, or just negativity? Focus on positive affirmations, your mastermind. Remember, courage isn't the absence of fear.
Right.
It's acting despite it.
Facing our fears, learning, working smart. What other advice does Hill offer?
This one might surprise you. It's about emotions, specifically sex.
Okay, we're listening.
Hill calls it sex transmutation.
Okay, so what is that?
Sexual energy is powerful, but it can be channeled into something creative.
Oh, I see. So not suppressing it, but like redirecting it.
Exactly. Even suggested it could unlock genius.
Interesting. Like using that energy, but for a different purpose.
Right. It's about understanding ourselves and using it positively.
Okay, so we're harnessing our emotions, working smart, persisting. It's not just about money, is it? It's about becoming better.
You got it. Hill's philosophy, it's about personal growth, spirituality, finding meaning, not just wealth.
Right. Enriching our lives overall.
Exactly. Hill believed you could achieve your goals and also find happiness, fulfillment, inner peace.
Okay, now I'm really seeing how deep this is. It's not chasing riches, but living a rich life.
That's the message that still resonates today.
It is powerful. But before we move on, what about this definite chief aim?
Having a clear purpose, it's vital. Without it, we're adrift. Write it down, what you want, why it matters.
Like a mission statement for your life.
Exactly. Keeps
Yeah.
you focused, on track.
Makes sense. But this is a lot. Where do our listeners even begin?
Start with what speaks to you. Which principle resonates most? Find your entry point, what feels authentic.
Okay, so finding the right starting point and building from there.
Exactly. Hill's philosophy is a journey, not a destination. It's about learning, growing, self-discovery.
Good point. We've covered so much already.
We have, and there's more to come.
Can't wait. See you in part 2.
Welcome back to our deep dive into Think and Grow Rich. In part 1, we dug into some of Hill's core ideas.
Yeah, burning desire, the mastermind, even sex transmutation.
Right. Now let's get practical. How do we actually use this stuff?
Because Hill doesn't just throw out big ideas, he actually gives advice on making them work.
Exactly. He has a whole chapter on crystallization of desire into action, which boils down to organized planning.
Okay, so we have the desire, the mastermind team.
Yeah.
But we need a roadmap.
Yes. Hill's process for a good plan starts with definiteness.
So not just a vague idea, but a concrete goal.
Right. Measurable. Then you break it down into steps.
Like eating an elephant one bite at a time.
Haha, exactly. And don't forget, your mastermind should be involved in this planning.
Using that collective brain power.
Mhm.
Okay, so goal, then plan, then what?
Then comes persistence. Sustained effort, Hill calls it. The thing that turns wishing into doing.
Right, persistence, that's what separates the dreamers from the achievers.
It's a mindset. You can develop it. Starts with desire, belief in yourself, and willingness to keep going no matter what.
Like fall 7 times, stand up 8.
Exactly. Hill tells stories of people who succeeded because they wouldn't quit. Fannie Hurst, the author, years of struggle before Broadway success. Kate Smith, the singer, sang for free before she was a star. Persistence, it works for any goal.
Yeah, it's a pattern in so many success stories.
It is. And here's the interesting part. Hill connects persistence to faith.
Okay, back to the more mental side of things.
Yeah.
How do those connect?
Hill saw faith as what turns desire into reality. The head chemist of the mind, he called it. And you build faith through persistence.
So the more you persist, the stronger your faith gets.
Exactly, like a muscle. Stronger faith, more likely to achieve what you want. But then there's fear.
Yeah, fear can stop us before we even start.
The 6 ghosts of fear, he calls them. Fear, poverty, criticism, illness, losing love, old age, death.
It's like he listed all our worries. How do we deal with that much fear?
First, know your enemy. Analyze your fears.
Figure out where they're coming from.
Exactly. Then you can challenge them, rational or not, based on facts or just negative thinking.
Like putting those fears on trial.
Haha, yes. Often when we really look at them, they're not as scary. And even if they are valid, Hill says, focus on solutions, not the problem.
So reducing the risk, taking action instead of being frozen by fear.
Right. That's courage. It's not the absence of fear, it's moving forward anyway.
Okay, so we're facing fears, persisting, being smart. Anything else Hill recommends?
This one's a bit unexpected, but it's about understanding and controlling our emotions, especially related to sex.
We talked about sex transmutation before, but how do we actually do that?
Hill knew sexual desire is powerful, motivating. But if it's not channeled, it can cause problems.
Like fire, good when controlled, but destructive if it spreads.
Exactly. Transmutation is the key, redirecting that energy into creating other things.
So not suppressing it, but transforming it into fuel for our goals.
Yes. Hill even said it could lead to genius in some cases. Knowing ourselves and using that energy for good.
That's a powerful idea. So harnessing emotions, persisting, working smart. What else does Hill say about putting this into practice?
He has a whole chapter on the power of the subconscious mind, the connecting link, he calls it.
The subconscious. So mysterious, but it affects us so much. What did Hill think about it?
It's like a garden. We plant seeds, and those seeds are our thoughts, beliefs, desires.
So plant good seeds, get good results.
Right. But the subconscious doesn't judge. It doesn't know good from bad.
Meaning, if we keep feeding it fear and worry, that's what grows.
Exactly. So Hill emphasizes autosuggestion, or affirmations, to reprogram it with positive stuff.
So consciously choosing the thoughts we want, repeating them until they sink in.
Yes. Write down your desires in the present tense like they've already happened.
As if it's real.
Right. Read these out loud twice a day with feeling. You're imprinting it on your subconscious.
Like a blueprint for your mind to follow. But that takes effort, right?
It does. But Hill said it was essential. Taking control of your destiny. You're choosing where you go.
We're the CEOs of our own minds.
Exactly. You set the vision, make the decisions. But Hill also said the subconscious has limits.
What does that mean?
It's a servant carrying out orders. But if we give it the wrong orders, through negativity, fear.
Then it sabotages us without us even realizing.
Exactly. So choose your thoughts, your beliefs carefully. Direct your subconscious towards your goals.
Okay, so mindful thinking is key.
Okay.
And we're using affirmations, visualizations, all these techniques Hill talks about.
It's like an orchestra. All these principles working together.
That's a great way to put it. It's not just about money, but about becoming better people overall.
You got it. Growth, spirituality, purpose. Not just wealth, but a rich life.
Exactly. And Hill believed you could have both. Achieving goals, and having happiness, fulfillment, peace.
That's what people still connect with all these years later. A message of hope, potential.
It is inspiring. But before we wrap up part 2, what about this idea of a definite chief aim?
Hill was big on having a clear purpose. Without it, we're just drifting. Write down your chief aim, what you want, why it matters to you.
Like our life's mission statement.
Exactly. Keeps you focused.
I get it. But honestly, this is a lot of information. Where should our listeners start?
Start with what feels right to you. Which principle speaks to you most? Make it personal, authentic.
Find that entry point and build from there.
Exactly. This is a journey, not a race. It's about learning as you go.
Great point. We've covered so much ground already, exploring all these practical tips.
And there's even more to come. Welcome back for our final deep dive into Think and Grow Rich. We've covered a lot, from like the basics to actually using those ideas.
Yeah, burning desire, persistence, even the subconscious mind, that was a lot.
Right. And in this last part, we're getting into some maybe more mysterious parts of Hill's philosophy.
Okay, color me intrigued. We've talked about like everything from the mastermind to sex transmutation. What else is there?
Well, Hill also talks about intuition, his views on leadership, even his hopes for a better world. Big stuff.
Okay, let's start with intuition. It's something we hear about, but like, what did Hill mean by the sixth sense?
He believed it was this ability we have to tap into knowledge beyond our five senses, beyond logic. Creative imagination, he called it, like a bridge between us and, well, something bigger.
So those gut feelings, like suddenly knowing the answer to a problem or having a new idea just pop up.
Yes. And Hill said we can actually get better at this through practice, like meditation, quiet thinking, even reading the right stuff.
Like a skill, you got to train it. But how do we even know when it's happening? Is it just a feeling or are there signs?
Hill thought a big sign is certainty, knowing something without needing proof. Ideas from the sixth sense, they often feel inspired, like they came from somewhere else.
Like those aha moments, they feel different.
Exactly. It's like having an inner compass. Okay, so we're developing our sixth sense. What's next on Hill's list?
Yeah, where do we go from there?
Well, Hill has a whole chapter on leadership. He thought it was crucial for success, not just in business, but in life.
Leadership, that's something we all want to be good at. What was Hill's take on it?
He didn't think it was about bossing people around or knowing everything. It was more about working together, empowering others, helping them be their best.
So, more collaborative, less my way or the highway.
Right. Courage, fairness, understanding, those were important to Hill. Kind of like using the mastermind principle for leadership itself. The group is smarter together.
Makes sense. Now, Hill was writing during the Great Depression. Did that affect what he thought about wealth and, like, social fairness?
Definitely. He saw poverty, inequality all around him. He actually thought the principles in his book could help fix that. Not just individual wealth, but a system where everyone could thrive.
So a system that works for everybody, not just a few lucky people.
Exactly. Through education, cooperation, helping others, Hill thought his ideas could change things for the better.
It's like using these principles to make the world a better place, not just our own lives.
Right. And that's why people still read Think and Grow Rich. It's more than just money. It's about purpose, meaning, serving others.
So it's not just about getting rich, it's about living a rich life.
That's it. It's about what really matters. So as we wrap up this deep dive, what's the one thing you hope our listeners take away?
Yeah, what's the big takeaway?
Success isn't luck. It's about mindset, action, never giving up. And though Hill talks about money, his ideas work for A and Y goal. It's about taking control, designing the life you want, and making the world better in the process.
So well said. To all our listeners out there, the power to think and grow rich, whatever that means to you, is inside you already. It's about wanting it badly enough, believing in yourself, and taking action every single day. Don't give up on those dreams. And build your team, your mastermind. Find those positive people. Never underestimate persistence, faith, and a good attitude.
Then listen to that inner voice, that intuition.
Great advice. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into Think and Grow Rich. We hope you learned something and feel inspired to create a truly rich, meaningful life. We'll see you next time for another deep dive.